Hello there, this is only one Kenobi, only one, and I just wanted to give you a quick update now on the barge and also discuss with you a few things I've been thinking about. I don't yet own one, I would love to have one, but if you are like me and are going through barge mania right now, loads of people are thinking about it. I've been thinking about what figures I would have on it if I owned one. The one thing that can't be denied is this thing has the capacity to put a shed load of figures on there. It's a great piece, it's a central display piece no doubt of anyone's collection. As I say, it has the capacity to fill it out, and the only people you would put on there are the underworld of the Star Wars galaxy. That's why Solo is popular, you know, the underworld rules, gangsters. There's so many sections of that film, you know. You've got like the World War II side of things, the political thing, the mythology of wizards, and then you have got the gangsters like Jabba the Hutt and my man Dryden Voss. I liked Dryden Voss a lot actually, and Solo, that was really cool. And I loved the fact that on his yacht you had like all those political people hanging around there. If you look carefully, blink and you'll miss it, you'll see a load of Imperial officials, so corrupted people involved with criminal activity. And I'm sure on the Khetanna you might have seen a number of Imperial officials hanging around there. Who knows? Your imagination can go wild with this thing, and that's what I've been thinking about. Anyway, I'm going to cut to that in a minute, but very quickly an update on, I'm going to show you some figures by the way from the vintage collection that would work on the barge, so stay tuned. But one thing quickly I want to say is that they have now said that it's going to be the 28th of March that the barge is released. So I don't know what your plans are, but that now means, because it's midweek, I will be working on the 28th, but I'm thinking that Wednesday night, 27th, I'm going to get up at midnight UK time and check the link then, refresh it. I'm also going to weekways over here. I'm going to wake up, he would go nicely on the barge, although he's designed for a skiff, but he would be on the barge at some point in his career. Anyway, we'll show you that later. Stay with me here. I'm going to wake up at 8 AM UK time, which will be midnight Eastern time, but the more likely option, I think, is going to be 8 AM UK time, which will be midnight on the west coast of the United States, which is, I do believe the listing has California on it, so I'm presuming it's going to be a Western schedule. I don't know, but good luck with you. Good luck with it. I don't know if I'm going to get one. I'm really not feeling it, to be honest. I think it's going to be an absolute hassle to get this thing. What a pain in the neck. Anyway, so let's have a look at some figures now. Join me. Boom. Okay, here we are, and do you know what? If only you could look to my left, you would see a huge pile of figures I've managed to just take off my wall now. There are loads of figures you could include on the Sail Barge in the vintage collection alone, and part of the pile is actually interfering with the shot. Let's go through the obvious ones. I've kept them in star cases. Obviously this new release of Sail Barge, or Yak Face, is a given, as is the Klaatu Skiff Guard, who does appear on the deck of the Khetanna during the Battle of Carkoon, I believe it's called, around the pit of Carkoon, the final showdown of Jabba and his cronies. Although he's a skiff guard, he appears on the top deck, as is Woof, most definitely on the deck of the Khetanna when he is shot by Luke, or blaster fire is deflected. It is a given that you should have a Gamorrean guard on the barge without question. I do not have this guy loose actually. I would love to get a Gamorrean guard loose. There's no better opportunity than now to get one floating around, as he was re-released. Kithaba, now he's a skiff guard, but there's nothing to stop Kithaba being obviously hired muscle by Jabba. I mean, obviously these guys are all just goons, man. They're just henchmen, or whatever you want to call them, guys on the outside of Jabba's circle, and he is associated quite heavily with the barge, and there's no reason why he couldn't be doing a shift one day on the deck of the barge as opposed to one of the skiffs around it. The Weequay Skiff Master, now there is a famous scene where Luke grabs a Weequay, one of them, there must be a few of them, and he throws them out the window. And this guy is obviously on the skiff when Luke is being dealt with, but again he could be associated with that whole vehicle. Now Nikto, the skiff guard, absolutely, he is someone who could find his way on the deck, as are Vizam and a few of the other guys. I've forgotten the other guy's name, but I'd love to see him on his own vintage card. He's in a special action figure set. And finally, of course, the Weequay. You know, all these aliens just fit perfectly with the skiff, without question. And now it brings me on to where my imagination is going sort of into overdrive. Now, Han Solo, obviously you know that I've specifically chosen the young Han Solo because in the movie the last thing that is said in Solo is, well, it is, I'm going to put this young lady in as well. It is said by Tobias Beckett, he says, I'm putting together a crew, some big time gangster on Tatooine, and then he obviously goes off and seeks out Jabba, and that is blatantly the start of the association between Han Solo and Jabba the Hutt. But there's no reason why Han Solo, a young figure of Han Solo, could be on the Khetanna with some of the cronies, because, you know, as we know, the aliens don't age as quickly as humans in the universe. And Enfys Nest, I wouldn't be surprised if she or others would have been associated with the gang of with Jabba in the underworld. So, I mean, that's just a little bit of an odd one there. I thought I'd throw that in. It's a possibility that Enfys would have been associated with the criminal underworld of Jabba's circle. Now then, where do I begin here now? So, the next figures I'm going to show you are ones that are associated with the Pit of Carkoon and also any era of the Khetanna being used. And that is, of course, our man Boba Fett, who is probably one of Jabba's top bounty hunters, or the most reliable ones, hard-working, as we know Mandalorians are. I'm putting Lando in here now because this fits in with the Battle of Carkoon. Specifically not this video. I mean, I know that this guy is coming out, or yeah, he's out in the vintage collection on his proper Lando skiff card back, but the figure in here anyway, as you can see, excuse this video, it's just very quick fire and putting figures down and moving them on, so sorry if I'm not getting close in on them, but you can see his skiff helmet there. Now a Lando figure would go very nicely, well, not necessarily on the barge, but more on the skiff. It's part of that whole diorama family. Speaking of Fett and other bounty hunters, Greedo. Now, if I had a barge, I would have Greedo on there. I've already seen somebody has put a Greedo on their barge on a review. There's no question that this guy worked for Jabba the Hutt, as we know in A New Hope, and no doubt he was on a little, he's taken a voyage or two on the Khetanna. I'm doing this video in no particular order. I'm going to bring in now Leia Slave Bikini, a figure I do not have loose. But if you wanted to recreate the Pit of Carkoon battle, then she would do very nicely riding on that gun on the back there. Put it at the deck! You know what I mean? Get the gun! And of course R2-D2. You could not have, if you were going to have any figure of R2, it has to be this one, which is, of course, remind me there, VC25. That would be awesome to have on the deck of the Khetanna. Next to, I couldn't possibly leave Jabba. Oh! Got the droids, whatever. Don't forget the droids. Run our way. So you've got to have a 3PO, and that's the best 3PO, I'd say, for that era of a Tatooine sun-blasted 3PO there. And of course, now going back to Han Solo, as I said, this is in no particular order. I've got a stack of figures I've just taken off my wall, but if you're going to have Han, as you know, there has been business relationships between Han and Jabba. Going on for years probably in the saga, but that figure of Han, what with it being a very definitive of Han Solo from A New Hope, that would be a nice figure to have displayed on your Khetanna barge. And speaking of good guys, let's talk about Luke Skywalker. Now Luke, there's two figures I want to show you. Specifically, the card back for this matches the era of the Battle of Carkoon better, because it's obviously Jedi Knight outfit. However, if you want a more accurate figure for the Khetanna, you get the Jedi Knight lightsaber construction, because as you can see both his hands there. His mechanical hand was injured during the battle, hence why he needed to have the black glove of that figure there. Bit confusing, that one, but anyway, Luke Skywalker, most unquestionably a Luke Skywalker with a green lightsaber with a black outfit. It's going to work well on the deck of your Khetanna. Now then, I just wanted to finish on these bounty hunters here. I thought any of these would work quite nicely on the Khetanna. And I want to start off with Bom Vimdin. Now this is the character, I was looking at this the other morning actually, and this is what inspired me doing this video right now. I saw the figure of Bom Vimdin. Now this is an underrated figure. It's such a cheap one to get hold of as well. He doesn't cost anything. You can get him for about £7 on eBay probably. And the figure is awesome. I mean, I know he's a Cantina patron. And forgive me, I've not done all my research on this guy. I don't know if he's associated with Jabba, but he's certainly one of the Tatooine underworld hanging around in that cantina. He's got a rifle, he might be, he's definitely a criminal. He's got his blue milk there. I would love to have him mixed in with the entourage, you know. When Ruiz comes out, you could definitely put him in, by the way, Ruiz. Got to give him a mention. He's coming out in the vintage collection soon in the Jabba's playset. But guys like this would just look awesome. Any alien looking as good as him, and that's an awesome figure, by the way. Get hold of that if you want to get a nice vintage figure, beautiful sculpting. And then I'm going to put these two in together. It would be a bit sort of like cliche to have these guys turning up on the Khetanna, but it's possible. They're everywhere, aren't they? They're on the moon of Jeddah, then they narrowly avoid death. But there's no question, there's a possibility, should we say, that you could have Ponda Baba and his companion Dr. Evazan, who might have, you know, taken a ride on the Khetanna. Who knows? Who knows? But certainly these next guys could have. Potentially, now it's going to be Bosk, our man Bosk there, and IG-88, just because of the close association with Boba Fett. Who knows where these guys might have done some business with Jabba along the way. I just see them as all being associated, you know. The degrees of separation are very close between these guys and Jabba the Hutt. Anyway, there is my video. There has been an absolute stack of things that I just got off my wall. I'm going to show you the stack now. Bear with me. Excuse the mess in this place, but look at that there. Massive stack of vintage figures, and vintage figures only. And then not to mention other characters. I have this other idea, if you just bear with me. There's no question you could get Jabbas into your Khetanna. And I also thought about Obi-Wan Kenobi. Now, the Kenobi film is going to come out. Wouldn't it be nice to see some sort of business between Jabba and Obi-Wan at some point in the past? And there's no question that he could say something like, Jabba, don't forget when I rescued your son. In the Clone Wars there, he did, didn't he? So there could be an association between Jabba and Obi-Wan. In fact, Rebels generally, you know, it's not just, I mean, it appears in Empire Strikes Back that Jabba has a close association with the Empire. However, I think that guys like Jabba, criminals like Dryden Voss, will only associate themselves with anybody who's playing the world's smallest violin. Anyone who's got the money, they will take it, won't they? So there you go. And also, as you know, in Rogue One, you know, the good guys seem quite bad. You know, people like Cassian Andor are pretty dangerous, man. Just quick shots in the back of guys. I'm waffling on here, but there's just so much you can say about this topic. I'm going to stop there, though. Thank you very much for watching. This has been Only One Kenobi. Only One out.